Hi there, my name is Rachel White. I am a JFK assassination researcher, and this video I'd like to bring together some more thoughts about Frasier, about Linnie Mae, and about Ruth Paine, and how this Irving Intel team really comes together. And I'm going to expand some more things for us and some more things based on the things I've researched out. And I want to talk a lot more about Linnie Mae, because I think she's more central and more important with her specific role than we've really realised previously. And I think we've made some new discoveries and put some things together which I think are really important that we should all know. So I want to start by saying that Linnie Mae, Ruth Paine and Marina kind of organised the job for Lee at the school book depository. Frasier was already working there, been working there since the September time. They get together, this group of women, and they're talking about Lee and him not being in work and how he can't find a job, and they are organising his employment, which I'm just sensing that is I feel really uncomfortable with that. The guy's 24. He's had employment before. He's very intelligent. He's perfectly capable of finding his own niche in life, his own employment, what he wants to do. And it just feels like an overbearing, motherly conversation, which I'm finding very difficult to kind of reconcile. I just sense that as a young man in that situation, you would feel really quite emasculated by that, other than a suggestion, hey, why don't you contact this guy, he might have some work for you. Other than that, I think that I would feel very, very uncomfortable with somebody trying to arrange my life. So it doesn't feel, what I'm trying to say is it doesn't feel quite right. That whole scenario doesn't feel quite right. Now, our understanding is that Ruth turned down a better paid job for Lee at a gypsum plant. And that's really interesting, because when I looked into that, I discovered there's two gypsum plants, or there were two gypsum plants in Dallas, and both of these are very close to Love Field. Now, there was talk earlier on in the way in which the assassination hit developed, according to Judith Ferry Baker, that there was a possibility that they may have decided to perform the assassination at Love Field, but it was ruled out. And so therefore they've moved on to Dealey Plaza, and it feels like that they're following around the options now. So it was Love Field, so let's find a natural place of work that we can explain why Lee was there, because we're setting him up. It's not going to be there, so we don't need that job. So let's go to the school book depository, because that's right on the corner there of Houston and Elm, overlooking the plaza. Perfect. Let's put him in there. And it's very, very interesting, isn't it, that the school book depository let a load of staff go in the early summer. They weren't needed, and then started rehiring again in the late summer, early autumn. That feels a very weird thing to do. We're talking 2-3 months and they're rehiring. I mean, it's just an odd thing to do, and it feels to me like the whole place then is then actually being used as a front, and may well be being used for other purposes also. We don't quite know any of those things. I don't want to get into that. I've got my speculations on that, but I don't want to get into that in this video. So Linnie Mae is very much involved in this neighbourhood scene of these young mothers, and she has a couple of children herself, and she is friendly, clearly, with Ruth. They're on very good neighbourhood terms, I would suggest, and they organise this job for Lee, and he then starts work in the school book depository in the middle of October. Okay, now Linnie, we know now from our previous discussions in my previous videos that Linnie Mae Randle could not possibly have seen Lee put any package on the back seat of Wesley's car. We have proved that many ways up. We have proved it because she told us she was looking out the window and she couldn't physically have seen him put anything in the back seat of the car because he was looking forward. So that we've proved that that's an impossibility to start with. We've proved that it didn't even happen anyway, so they had to make up a story because Lee left the Ruth Payne house the night before. So these things didn't even occur in any case. So we can see lie upon lie upon lie here. Now, Linnie was called to the Warren Commission to give her account of this curtain rod story and to talk about, be asked questions about different things. Now, on review of that, I have to tell you that I have picked Linnie apart because she lets herself down big time and without realising what she's done. And here is why. Because we've proved now that Lee left on the Thursday night, and we've proved that there is absolutely no way Linnie could see anything out that kitchen window, and Lee didn't come to the car anyway, we're saying on that Friday morning, Linnie Mae Randle could not possibly have seen Oswald at all. Couldn't have seen him. But during her Warren Commission deposition, she is asked what Lee is wearing. Now, the reason that she's being asked is clear when we read through that transcript. It's clear that they are, the council there is trying to lead Linnie to put Oswald together with the jacket that they found underneath the parked car a little ways further along after Oswald has been taken out of the theatre, arrested out of the theatre. They found a beige coloured, light coloured jacket under a car. And they're trying desperately to link Lee to this jacket. And they're trying to do that by asking Linnie about what Lee was wearing. Right. So Linnie is telling them that Lee is wearing a tan overshirt and a white t-shirt. And obviously she's trying to tell them that he's wearing this white jacket, which we know is not the case. But she tells them that she remembers... It's funny because she remembers that he was wearing the tan overshirt and the t-shirt more than the jacket. And I'm really struggling to picture how that could be the case. Because you're never going to remember what people are wearing underneath a jacket necessarily. Not really. You're just going to remember what they present you with, the colours, the block of colours that they're... white jacket, brown jacket, black shoes, whatever it is, you're not going to remember what necessarily they're wearing underneath. Okay? But what this is actually telling us, because she gets it right, tan overshirt and white t-shirt underneath, it's telling us very clearly that Linnie saw Lee. Linnie saw Lee Oswald on the day of the assassination. But let's think this through. We've proved to you now, we've shown how that she could not possibly have seen him on the Friday morning. So now we've got to ask the question, where did Linnie see Lee enough to know what he was wearing and get it right, minus this jacket that we know Oswald didn't own, didn't wear, didn't have. That's just been added on to try and link him to this crazy jacket. So we have a sighting of Lee Oswald making a phone call at the Tidy Lady Laundrette at 1 p.m. in Spanish. A Mr. and Mrs. Pennington were there, and they report, and obviously were dismissed by or never called to the Warren Commission, about Lee being there, talking to somebody very agitated in Spanish, probably Dave Atley Phillips, we don't know for sure, you know, just before he goes to the theatre. Now, we know, don't we, that Lee left the plaza in the Nash Rambler, which was the car issued to him via Ruth Payne. So this is his car that he has put up to be the getaway car. And as this car picks him up off the knoll, it contains some of the other shooters. So we ascertained then that this car, driven by a Latino male, drives back to the Holland Avenue safe house, where they get out, and Lee changes his trousers at this point, the black trousers. The others maybe just get a bag of money and escape, or lie low, whatever it is they're going to do next. But something's got to happen to this car, because you can't leave it at the Holland Avenue safe house, because we can't have any trace now of this vehicle linking to this group of individuals. So this is all planned out in advance. We've got to remember that this is all planned out in advance. So we can see now that there's got to be a designated drop-off spot for this vehicle. Okay, now we know that the plan was that Lee was going to meet Tippett at the Top 10 record store on Jefferson, and that if anything went wrong with the plan, that he's to go to the theatre. Now, these places, the Tidy Lady Laundrette, the Top 10 record store, and the Texas Theatre, are all in the same kind of locality, blocks away from each other. They're in the Jefferson kind of area. So this is far more feasible, okay, than this story about Lee catching a bus and a cab going back to 1026 North Beckley to be there for 1 o'clock, and then the timeline not really working, or the route's not really working for him to get from there. How do we explain he gets from there to the 10th and Patton where Tippett was shot to death, and then to the theatre? And we can't, you know, the internet is awash with people trying to work out how that could even be possible, because the timeline and the way that works out just simply does not fit together. And we've always known that doesn't fit together, which is why we've always had the questions about could Lee possibly have even done this? Well, no, he couldn't possibly have even done this, and we absolutely know that he did not do that. He did not go back to 1026 North Beckley. He did not go to 10th and Patton, and he did not hitch any kind of a ride with Tippett along the way. These things did not occur, but because they were part of the narrative, we've been told that this is the plan and this is what was going to happen. Somehow in our understanding, that has become what has happened, but that does not mean that it's the truth. So we've got now the Tidy Lady Laundrette, Top 10 record store, and the theatre, and we are able to see how these link together within a minute or two's 5-minute walk between each of these locations. How much more feasible it is that this is the truth. It totally is the truth. Okay, so the Tidy Lady Laundrette is the drop-off spot, the designated drop-off spot for the Nash Rambler. Okay, now it's got to get back to Irving, and it does get back to Irving, because later on in the afternoon that car is witnessed outside the Payne household. All right, so here's my contention. This is what I feel has happened. Linnie Mae is the one who has been tasked with collecting that vehicle, and here's what she does. She's been tasked with going to take a bag of laundry and one of her small children on a bus to the Tidy Lady Laundrette, put the washing on, sit there for a while, and observe Lee drive up in this Nash Rambler. And he either leaves the car keys underneath the wheel of the car, or he goes in and he gives them to her directly. Okay, and he makes this phone call Either way, Linnie sees Lee. Linnie sees Lee and therefore knows exactly what he's wearing because she gets it right. Tan overshirt, white t-shirt, dark trousers. She gets that right. She gets that right. Linnie saw Lee. She waits for him to make the phone call. She waits for her washing to finish. 10 minutes maybe. Who knows? She gets in the car. She drives that back to Irving. She parks it outside the Payne house on the street there. And then she gets in her own vehicle or her husband's vehicle and she drives anywhere. Doesn't really matter. 45 minutes driving about. Who knows where she went. And she comes back to Irving. She comes back to her house as the police are there at Ruth Payne's asking questions. A lot of commotions going on in the neighbourhood. Everybody's curtain twitching for sure. And at this point, she rolls up, drives up in the car, and it looks so innocent, doesn't it? Because the job's already been done. Her job's already done. She looks like she's been out all morning. Who knows where? Who knows where? Shopping with a friend, having coffee with someone. Who knows? Seeing her mother. Well, no, her mother was in the house. Seeing her mother-in-law. It doesn't really matter where she was. It does not matter where she was. It looks as though she's been away. She's so innocent. She's come back. And she offers this curtain rod story to the police. My brother took Lee into work this morning. I saw Lee put a package on the back seat. Da-diddly-diddly-dee. And obviously the police want to know, where is your brother? Where can he be found? Where can he be found? And this is the point where she says, my brother has gone to visit my sick stepfather in the hospital, but she tells them that he's gone to Parkland. But the man isn't in Parkland. Her sick stepfather is at Baylor. So there is a huge lie. Now, why does she say that? Why does she say that? My understanding here, my true belief here, is that she's been listening to her car radio. Who wouldn't be? You know that the president's been shot. You're listening in. You know then that the president is taken to Parkland. She assumes because Wesley was meeting not the sick stepfather, but Roselli or whoever, her handler, to report in for duty, that the plan of JFK going to Baylor didn't work out. He's gone to Parkland. So she's assuming now that Wesley must have gone to Parkland, right? But the sick stepfather's at Baylor. And how would she know? Like we said before, how would she know where Wesley'd even gone? Because if you're nothing to do with nothing to do with nothing to do with nothing, the whole assassination is a random event. We didn't know it was going to happen. But nobody knows where anybody is, what they're going to do next, what their choices are, whether he should have been in lockdown. He should have been in lockdown inside the TSBD with the rest of the employees. She should have been saying, well, I don't know where my brother is. He's probably at the school book depository because he works there. And maybe they're keeping all the staff back. That's what she should have been saying. Because that would have been more in line with the truth. No. He's gone to the hospital. He's gone to visit the sick stepfather. Well, how does she know that? And furthermore, if he'd have told her that, like I said before, he's got the money to ring her to tell her where he is from the wrong hospital. How does that work? How does that work? So we've got to cut through the lies, and we've got to say now, Linnie Mae is much, much more involved than we've ever realised. And when we start to look at it, when we start to unpack it, and we start to think it through, we can see things, just come into crystal clear vision. Now, Linnie Mae sadly died a few years ago. So, we've only got Frazier now, telling us all these things. He's still with us. And I would like to challenge this story head on, because now from this videos that I've been putting together and the information that we've been talking about, we can clearly see no weapon came out of Ruth Payne's house. Lee left the night before on the Thursday night. There was nothing put in the back seat of Wesley's car. They never rode in together. Linnie Mae couldn't possibly have seen him out the window anyway. And why would she lie? Why would she even lie about that? Well, she just needed to say, well, I don't know. See him. Why would she even need to lie? Why? So the fact that we've got all of these things coming together is telling us that these people are working in conjunction with each other. There is a set way of funneling Lee Oswald into position to monitor him, to understand that he is being set up for the for the murder of JFK, and the plan is coming together, and they better all tell the same story, or kind of, to make it fit together. And this is what we've ended up with, this huge mess that when we unpack it, when we look at it properly, we can just see through this whole, like I said before, this whole house of cards. It's crumbling before our very eyes. And I want to bring this because we need the truth. We need the truth. We need to see the truth, and we need to hear the truth, and we need to understand the truth, because one piece of truth unlocks the door for another piece of truth, and another piece of truth, and another piece of truth. And we can see now that this whole thing it's just, why would anybody go to the lengths of setting up Lee Oswald so much? What are they protecting? Who are they protecting to pin all of the blame of all time, for history's sake, on this one 24-year-old man? And you know what? There has to be a deeper, darker truth. And if you've been following our research, you will understand now that the person that they're really protecting here in all of the works of all of these things, and to get us looking at Lee Oswald and looking at all of these things as him as the guilty one, shutting down the investigation, bumping him off, all of that is pointing and directing us, our focus, completely away from the real killer. The real killer sat in that car, in that limousine, and being part of an in-car hit team on the 22nd of November 1963. Our real killer, our real killers, was sent by the deep state. And the queen of those killers is Jackie Kennedy. And that is what all of this stuff, 56 years now of covering all this stuff up and getting us looking in the other way, asking the wrong questions, not asking the questions, dismissing things without thinking them through. That's all of that is about covering Jackie Kennedy as the true killer of JFK. So I just wanted to share that with you, and come and ask me any questions, and bye for now.